Hey everyone, it's Jessica from Jessica Phillips Creative, and we are getting ready to paint these stacked teacups and pearls. This is going to be a sped up tutorial. You can pause it when necessary. Our colors are going to be black, raw sienna, green, fuchsia, and white. And we're going to start by filling in the background with black. Pretty easy. I usually use a flat brush and a small detail brush, and of course the size of those would depend on the size of your canvas. You can use whatever you're comfortable with, though. This is really your painting. Okay, once we have the background done, we're going to work on some shading with the teacups and the candle. I did try to add a little bit of a glow around the flame, but I didn't really like the outcome of that. So we'll see that, but it's not really a step you have to take. I didn't like the way it turned out. You're also going to see that I mix my own colors here in this particular application. When I tried to create the glow, I used some of the raw sienna, and I added a little bit of pink to just brighten it up a little. And I think my issue was that my black background was not dry yet. I'm painting on cardstock that I gessoed and had dry, and then I printed this tracer on top of it. So you'll see that the image is pretty dark. If you choose to do the same thing, you could change the color and have your ink a little bit lighter, or you could print it first and then gesso on top, which would dull out the dark lines. You could also use another technique, or just trace it like with carbon paper. So what I'm doing here is mixing a gray color. Excuse me. Black has blue in it. So when we use it to mix our colors and you add it to the yellow ochre, as I did there, it gets kind of greenish. And so that's why I added some of the pink, because green and pink are complementary colors, which means they neutralize each other. So I just mixed those colors together and added some white until I created a shade that I liked. You don't have to apply your color that way. You are welcome to just go out and purchase, I don't know, maybe a sandy color. And what I'm showing you here is that we are applying the shadow for these teacups, trying to keep in mind that the shape is curved, right, because our cups are round, but also the direction that the light is hitting these cups. So we've got light coming from the candle. There, I'm mixing some more of that color. We have light coming from the candle, but as we progress with this painting, you'll see there's also light coming in the direction from, I'm gonna say the lower right-hand side. And so we want to make sure that we don't really put any shadows there. Of course, some of these shadows are simply because the cups are stacked, right? And so we need to have a little demarcation there. I like to start with my shadow colors. I can build up from that, oftentimes painting right over them, as we'll see when we get a little bit further. I don't really worry too much about my placement once I get my shadows in. And you can see here I grab the white and I'm just going right over that shadow color. It blends nicely because it's still a little wet, and it softens it up a little bit. Again, this is a sped up tutorial, so you can pause it as you paint through a step and then start it up again for the next step. When we mix the white, or rather paint the white on top of the shadow, it kind of creates its own little cream color, which I love. That little ivory, maybe? Ivory is a good color. And okay, now that we have finished up the teacup, we're going to go ahead and just add a little shadow line on the candle using that yellow ochre again. And I add a little bit of that, of the black. Just picking up different colors here to fill that in, using some of the colors that I created earlier, filling in that flame. And now we're going to move along and create a little bit of a cooler shadow color. We started with the yellow ochre, and now we just lightened some of that shade from the teacups. This can be any color you want. You don't have to use the same colors I did. You do want to follow the same shadows and highlights. And now what I'm going to do is create a gold color for the trim on the teacups. So this next part is kind of tricky. I'm adding a little green just to darken it. I thought I had too much green on, so I swiped it off. And what I'm doing now is trying to create this shadow color for the pearls. They are a golden bronzy type of pearl. In the picture that was provided, I'll share that also, the photographer who shared this image for me. And so I just played around, as you saw with the plate, mixing some of my original shadow color and adding a little gold, and then dulling it with a little green. And this is, again, the first shadow application. And so when I'm working with the string of pearls on the teacup, I am really focusing on the direction of light from the candle. It really helps add the dimension to the pearls, taking them from a string of flat circles to a sphere of pearl. Now, as we move down from the pearls on the teacup and move to the pearls on the table, you're going to see that the shadow lines change a little bit, because not only are we going to be changing the direction of light from the candle, but we have a little more direct highlight that will be coming from the light directed from the lower right hand corner.
Look at my darling.
And you know, if lights and shadows and design theory and all of that isn't your thing, that's okay, man. Just copy what I'm doing, it'll be fine.
Thank you, son.
Okay, so now I'm just adding a little white to that original shadow color to kind of find a medium highlight, if that makes sense. And we're going to go ahead and fill in the unpainted spots on the pearl for now. And while we do that, we'll go ahead and kind of perfect the shaping and kind of swirl it in with some of the shadow so that line of demarcation isn't as sharp, it's a little more blended.
Yes. All your friends probably have Cash App, yeah.
Okay, so don't get nervous here when you look at this. It kind of looks like a string of olives, but we're going to keep mixing these colors. This is a lighter color now, almost pure white, and we're going to be adding some highlight to these, and we will be, when we get down to the pearls on the tablecloth, we will be adding some more color, you know, just to really solidify that spherical shape. They will not look like olives for long. So we're just kind of dotting this white on areas that we feel the light would reflect on the pearls. And they look flat, and by flat I mean color, not shape right now, but we will be swirling in some other colors to kind of give that iridescent appearance that pearls have. There's just a process to it, so we don't want to we can't really get that all at one time without using an iridescent paint. And before I do that, I'm going to go ahead and start to fill in some color on the plates underneath the teacups. I'm going to start with some white and really just slap some paint down and try to cover up those dark lines. And then we're going to create a little bit of a shadow color just for some shaping using the colors already mixed on the palette, lightened up a little bit. It's fairly monochromatic, meaning a lot of the colors are the same until we get to the details at the very end. And here I'm just taking that same color that I used for the shadow on the plates, and I'm starting to really just mix it on these pearls to try and smooth out the color. And you can see it kind of makes it start to glow a little bit. Slowly but surely we're getting to that iridescent appearance. Here shortly we're going to warm it up. This is a cooler shade. By that I mean it's primarily got that color that we mixed with the green, and you'll see here in a minute we're going to add some of that yellow ochre, and it's going to really make these pearls kind of glow a little bit. By the way, if you're not using an acrylic paint that says yellow ochre, another color that works is called King's Gold. King's Gold is pretty much the same thing in like your craft paint. You can see that starts to blend pretty nicely and just softens up that line. And now I'm adding some of that yellow ochre, or King's Gold, whatever you have. It's looking a lot better now. And honestly, it's kind of tricky to explain how to do this as far as making a sphere look kind of shiny. It just kind of comes from practice, but that's okay. Just do what I'm doing and you'll be fine. And here I'm using the gold, but also adding a little bit of white in some spots and just working it back and forth. Just copy what I'm doing and you'll be okay. It is so fun to watch it come together. I still love watching this tutorial, and I put these together hoping to create a lesson that allows you guys to paint this in, I don't know, 2 or 3 hours most, but I really love this composition so much that I think I'm going to paint a canvas for myself with it. Here I'm just adding some more shadows, first to the plates and then in those dark spots with the teacup. Where I'm applying them now are the rims of the cups that kind of, you know, it has a little lip at the top there, and then we're going to apply a little bit more of a deeper shadow on some of the handles and just along the spots where the cups are stacked. What a difference a little shadow makes. When we talk about design theories, one of the things you do when you're putting a piece together is you want to make sure that you have light, medium, and dark shades to really make it more appealing to the eye. And now we're kind of sticking to that semi-monochromatic idea here. Same tones when we're filling in this fabric. The original photo, it is a textured tablecloth, fairly lacy, I guess you'd say, but we're not going to get too detailed here. We're just filling it in with a color that's pretty close to one of the highlight colors for the pearls. We're just slapping some color down here. And after we fill the base color in for this tablecloth, this fabric, we will fill in some shadow.
Hello, you're on speaker. Anything from Summer Fresh? Just what you might want for supper, I guess. Brady, do you want anything like blue tops? Brady Phillips! Do you want anything from Summer Fresh other than blue tops? We need water bottles. Bottles of water. Will you run and check on Yaw? He's calling me. Okay. Should I call him? Yeah, he might have something he's hungry for. Talk to you later. All right, honey, love you. Bye. Is Grandpa okay? Brady? Was Grandpa okay? Okay. He got hurt, huh? Alright. About the eggy yolk that you just cooked? Like flavor or texture? Do you think it's because of the salami? Oh.
All right, as we finish this up, I'm going to rinse my brush, get some white on here. I just want to kind of brighten up my cups a little bit.
Nice, especially knowing how much you like it.
Just cleaning that up so it really looks a little more crisp in those areas where
There is a little something
it's
else in
going
it.
to be highlighted from the light. This is a good time to clean up any lines from your pearls if you need to.
But kind of funny, kind of silly romance novel, which I'm surprised I like. What? You do? There is one.
Highlighting
There's
the
something
lips
called
of the
Alchemy.
cups there.
Girly stuff. But I don't mind watching stuff without it, actually. It doesn't bother me. How about you?
Every little step through the process really has value to the dimension of the real overall effect. We're going to highlight that candle a little. Brighten up any spots that you think needed on your pearls. And now we're mixing a color and just kind of using it to add a little bit of texture to this tablecloth. And while the details aren't super important to as far as having to be precise, you do want to make sure that your strokes are kind of following the shape of the folds within the fabric. So maybe just kind of watch here how I'm applying a few strokes here and there to show the idea of texture. to kind of give the viewer, you know, just that impression that it isn't a flat piece of fabric. It's not really fancy. We're just making sure our strokes follow the shape of the folds of the fabric. Okay, so it's not a whole lot. See, just enough to kind of give it some interest. And now we are so close to the end. We're going to use some pink and make some flowers. Not even detailed flowers. You'll see what I've done here is chisel my brush and I'm doing some little, we call them C strokes. Just giving the impression of a floral shape, not anything super detailed. We don't need it. The perspective of this painting, perspective meaning the angle of the lens when they take this picture, where the pearls in the front are so much larger. That's really what makes this painting cool. It's not all the fancy details. Here I'm just darkening a little bit because we want some contrast there. Added some flowers to the candle for interest. And we're going to go into some green now. We need a cool green and a lighter green. You'll see I mixed some pink in with the green on my palette. Remember, it is the complementary color, so it will neutralize it, dull it down a little. And I'm just kind of haphazardly throwing some leaves down. Nothing fancy, just a little suggestion. And as you watch this part of the tutorial, I want to just let you know that we're going to add some script to the cups when we're done here, just for some interest. And here what I did is I'm just kind of creating a lighter, it's a dark gray, I guess, just to kind of suggest that that candle's glowing on the wall behind us a little bit. Throwing a little of the yellow in there. Reshaping my flame. So when I did this next step with the pencil, I'm just filling in here trying to cover up any dark lines because I printed it on the gesso and it was so dark. So I just went over some of those lines a little bit. You may be able to avoid this step altogether. But after this, you'll see that I took a pencil and I just kind of wrote some words. It can be anything across the teacup. And I tried to kind of consider the shape of the cup and how those words would kind of curve. You'll see here in a minute what I'm talking about. I kind of tried to make it look like, you know, Corinthians, love is patient, love is kind, but not perfectly. You can zoom in here if you want to see that it's just kind of haphazardly written, that you can kind of tell I'm writing about love. I loved this so much. I really enjoyed this, and I'm looking forward to painting some more pieces that are themed this way. I'll be painting some more soft romantic tea and coffee paintings. It's really lovely. If you give it a try, please remember to tag me. I'd love to see it.